Night Owl, Barn Owl is our story today by Nicola Davies. One frosty winter day, I helped my grandpa make a big wooden box. "What's this for, Grandpa?" "It's for the barn owls to nest in," he said. "What barn owls?" I asked. But Grandpa just smiled. "Wait and see," he said, and we carried the box across the Tussock's field. Tussocksy field. Now, barn owls like to nest in old farm buildings or hollow tree trunks, and when there aren't any, they will sometimes nest in a nest box instead. Grandpa put the box high in an old oak tree. "How do you know there are any barn owls here?" I asked. "I've seen them sitting on that branch last night," Grandpa said. "Look, it left something behind." And under the branch was a pile of little sausage-shaped blobs. They looked like dried poop, but Grandpa says they're pellets. Now, barn owl pellets, this is the real size. That's kind of what they are. Now, barn owls have a favorite perch that they come back to again and again. It's their favorite place that they like to hang out and look. "The owl spits them out," Grandpa said, "to get rid of the fur and the bones that they can't eat." And he pulled a pellet apart and showed me the tiny bones and even the skull inside. "Will the owl come to our box tonight?" "Maybe," Grandpa said. "Maybe not. Owls are wild birds. You can't be sure what they will do." Now, owls swallow their prey whole. That's why they need to spit out the bones and the fur, because they can't chew it. When the sun went down, we kept a lookout just in case, but we didn't see anything. "We'll have to be patient," said Grandpa. We were patient lots of times. I thought we'd never see an owl. Now, in the winter, barn owls have to fly miles every night to hunt for enough food, so sometimes it's hard to find them. And then one spring night, just as the sky went pink, a pale face looked out of our box. An owl, a white owl, a barn owl. Now, in spring and summer, owls stay close to their nest. So they travel in the winter, they stay close in the spring. And then Grandpa did a strange thing. He put his hand over his mouth and he made a loud squeaking sound. Right away, the owl took off and flew towards us. "He thinks I'm a vole or a mouse in the grass," Grandpa said. "He's coming to see if he can catch his dinner." I held my breath. The owl's whiteness gleamed, and its face was like a pearly heart. Now, barn owls have huge eyes, and they can see when it's too dark for human eyes to work. The heart-shaped ruff around the barn owl's face helps it to guide to the sound to the super sharp ears, which are just holes under the feathers on its head. The owl came closer and closer and then landed in the tree right above our hiding place. It was so light, it hardly bent the twig it perched on. I could see the tiny ruff of feathers around his face like a stiff lace, and I could see the speckled browns on its back. I could see the shine of its big dark eyes. I could have reached out and touched this velvety creature. Now, under their feathers, owls are slim. Their bones are hollow, which helps keep their bodies light, and it makes flying easy. And then it raised its wings, just like an angel, and took off. It was so quiet, all I heard was my own heart beating. Now, owls' wings feathers are especially soft, so owls can move through the air silently and fly up to their prey without being heard. The owl flew back and forth over the field. Another owl came to join it. "That's its mate," Grandpa whispered. One owl dropped to the ground and came up again. "Look, look," Grandpa said. "It's caught something," I said. Barn owls catch their prey by pouncing with their long legs and needle-sharp talons. The owl flew straight to the box and went inside. The weirdest sounds were coming from Grandpa's house, or Grandpa's box. "They've got a family," Grandpa whispered. "That's the baby house squabbling over their dinner." Now, barn owls lay up to 6 eggs, which hatch one after another. The first chick to hatch are the biggest, and the last ones to hatch are the smallest. I held Grandpa's hand and we walked home as the moon came up. "Will barn owls always nest in our box now, Grandpa?" Grandpa smiled. "I just think they might." Barn owls will come back to the same nest year after year after year if it stays safe and there's enough to eat nearby. Now, notes on a nest box. On modern farms, the open grasslands where barn owls like to hunt is often plowed up, and old trees and barns where they can nest are usually taken down. So barn owls have become rarer. One way to bring them back is to put up nest boxes. The barn owl nest box in this book is very sturdy and weatherproof, so it will last outside in a tree. But nest boxes inside barns, protected from wind and rain, can be simple. Just an old crate will do. All nest boxes should be 10 to 15 feet up in the air so that they're safe from predators and people. And they should have nothing in the way of the entrance, so that way owls can fly right in. Now, if you want to get more information about how to make a nest box or where to put it, you can ask the local wildlife, so the DNR is a great place to go. Sometimes it takes a while for owls to use that new nest box. Be patient. You could soon have a barn owl family in your box. Ta-da.